DreAllDay.com.
Let me know y'all names and where you from. Can there be two leaders in a group? Yes, but that's not going to work. They call that a conflict of leadership. Somebody got to step up. You remember Kobe and Shaq on the Lakers? Eventually somebody had to fall back. That's the only way it was going to work. So please keep hitting those hearts, y'all. Somebody got to step up and somebody got to fall back. That's the only way it's going to work. You can't have two leaders. You know, you ever see a football team where they got two starting quarterbacks, like Ohio State? You see how they got the two different starting quarterbacks? And everybody's confused. The team's not playing at its highest level because nobody knows who the leader is. You got to have one leader. Somebody got to take the leadership role, or I don't know, the coach, I guess he decides who's the quarterback is, so he got to decide on the quarterback. That's the only way. You can't have two different people trying to lead. If y'all watch the TV show The Wire, you remember when Avon and Stringer was kind of having conflict at the top, and then their whole organization started to fall apart. So somebody got to step up. Exactly. D Wade and LeBron. Exactly. Same thing. Somebody got to be the guy, and somebody got to fall back. It's not always about talent. It's just about who's going to be that leader. But it has to be one person. It can't be 2, 3, 4 people. Because when somebody who's a follower in the group needs to know who they're going to get direction from, they got to know to look to one person and say, all right, this is what we're doing. They can't go to one person, they don't like that answer, so let me go to the other leader and see what he says. Well, if you get a different answer, now you got a conflict of leadership. So it has to be one person leading. So what we about to talk about here is the trophy. A couple weeks ago, I got this plaque from YouTube. It's like a plaque that you get. They call it the silver play button. You get it when you get like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I had 100,000 subscribers a while back, but whatever. I just got the plaque like last week, something like that. But anyway, you know, when I get something like that, people say, you know, they're like, congratulations, you know, you got this trophy, or any kind of trophy, anything you do where you get recognized, you get called on stage and you get to give a little speech, you got your graduation from school, they give you get a little certificate, anything that you do where you get a prize, you get recognized for what you did. And a lot of times what happens to people is kind of like Tim Grover in the book Relentless, one of my top 5 all-time favorite books. He talks about that. He talks about in the NBA because he trains basketball players. He's like, I see a lot of basketball players get drafted, and people think getting drafted is the start of your career, before a lot of people is the end of their career. Or a player, they get that big contract. You know, you got the rookie contracts in the NBA, so is a lower scale pay. Right, Coach Kev read that book. It's a lower scale pay, so it really is your second contract when you can get like the max deal, or you get these $10 million a year deals, and it's like, damn, this person is set for life. They made so much money. We know that's not always the case that they set for life, but the point being, sometimes when people sign that contract, that's not the beginning of everything, that's the ending of everything. As soon as they get it, they stop working the way that they did to get there, and it gets into their mindset. And it's really a mindset thing. It's not a physical thing. And that's what I'm talking about when I say the trophy. So the trophy doesn't necessarily mean a plaque or a certificate or something that you can hang up on the wall. A trophy means when you get recognized for something that you did. You get rewarded for some accomplishment that you had in the past. Now, the past could be 5 minutes ago. The past could be 5 years ago. The past could be 5 months ago. But anytime you're getting recognized for something, you're getting any type of trophy, I mean a recognition, a reward, that means you already did something good. You already did the thing to get the trophy for. Like if you watch the NBA Finals and everybody's in the locker room spraying champagne all over everybody, they already won the game. They already did the thing to get the trophy. I'm not saying that you don't celebrate, but you think about somebody like Pat Riley. He's with the Heat now, but when he used to coach the Lakers, when the Lakers won the championship, if you read Pat Riley's book, 1987, they won the championship. As soon as they finished the celebration and the champagne dried up and everybody got cleaned up and they had a parade the very next day in the middle of LA. Million people in LA come to celebrate the Lakers championship. Pat Riley got on the mic and said, we about to win it again next year. And all the players on the Lakers was looking at him crazy, like, what? Like, as hard as you drove us this year, as hard as we had to work to get through the Western Conference and finally beat the Celtics, who had won the championship the year before, now you're going to announce to the public, to a million people, that we're going to win the championship again? Like, we don't even want to see a basketball. Like, the players was just thinking, like, we don't want to see Pat Riley's face for 3 whole months before we got to go through this again. He's already announcing we're going to do the next thing. But it's the mindset of Pat Riley. The mindset was, listen, by the time you win that award, you already did it. And this is something that Tex Winter said. If y'all follow basketball, Phil Jackson was a coach of the Bulls, and his assistant, the guy who actually put the triangle offense into the Chicago Bulls, he kind of brought it to the NBA. Now there's a bunch of people using it or using pieces of it. Tex Winter was the assistant coach, and he used to always clash with Michael Jordan because Jordan didn't like the triangle. But one thing Tex Winter always talked about, and Phil Jackson wrote about this in his books, He said, Tex always said, when you're getting a trophy, when you're getting a reward or any kind of recognition for something that you already did, you're not even a success anymore. Because the thing that made you a success was the action. So if you win the championship in basketball, what makes you a success is what you did all 82 games of the season, the playoffs, and the finals. So as soon as that's over, you're no longer a success because the world is moving forward. Once you get the trophy, your success is already passed on. And what happens to a lot of people when they get recognized, they get their recognition, they get their rewards, it makes us feel good. I mean, everybody likes to feel significant in some way, shape, or form. So when you get a trophy, somebody calls you on stage, your name gets announced on some website, or somebody famous shouts you out because you did something good, you feel great. That's a trophy. That's what I mean by a trophy. So it's all figuratively speaking. I hope I'm not going over nobody's head with that, but I don't think so. Once you get that reward, your success already happened in the past. So you got to put your mind in a state like, okay, it's time to move on to the next thing. You always got to have something next to move on to. Tim Grover's another guy. He talks about this. Again, he talks about this in his book, Relentless. Once you reach one goal, you already got to be waiting for the next goal. He said every day, you know, when he was training Michael Jordan, because when Michael Jordan played for the Bulls, Tim Grover was his trainer. If y'all don't know that, don't matter if you don't know it. He was training Michael Jordan every single day. Michael Jordan used to get up, early in the morning to work out. That's where the whole Breakfast Club thing came from. So people got the Breakfast Club thing. They got that from Michael Jordan. He started that with Scottie Pippen, this guy named Ron Harper. Tim Grover said during Michael Jordan's his heyday, like when Michael Jordan was winning all those championships, every night when the Chicago Bulls had a game, Tim Grover would come into the Bulls locker room and he'd walk over to Michael Jordan. Now, you know Michael Jordan is the guy, everybody wants a piece of this dude. After every game, he got 50 reporters around him asking him dumbass questions about the game that they already got the answers to. Everybody wants a piece of this guy. When he finally got all the reporters was away, Tim Grover would walk over to Jordan and he'd be like, hey, you good? And Michael Jordan would say either I'm good or I'm not good. Most of the time, Michael Jordan, I'm good. He would say, all right. And then Tim Grover, next thing he would say is 5, 6, or 7. 5, 6, or 7. And Michael Jordan would give back a number. He would say either 5, 6, or 7. That number was what time they was working out the next morning. And Tim Grover said every single day, Tim Grover would be standing out. He said Michael Jordan would wake up the next morning and he would find me standing outside his door at either 5, 6, or 7. Whatever time he said we were supposed to work out. And mind you, this is Chicago. He said, I'm standing outside his door every single day at 5, 6, or 7. And every single day, no matter how good Jordan played, whether he had 50 or whether he had 10 points, whether they won the game or lost the game, no matter how many questions he had to answer from reporters, no matter what was going on in the news, no matter what one of his teammates did or didn't do, no matter what he went through in that game, every day when Tim Grover said 5, 6, or 7, Jordan had an answer. It's either 5, 6, or 7. And the very next morning, Michael Jordan was up 5, 6, or 7 to work out. And when he opened that door, who was standing there? His trainer, Tim Grover. 5, 6, or 7. That's a mentality. That's not a physical thing. Yeah, Michael Jordan was 6'6", and he could jump real high, and he had a great jump shot, and he had long arms and big hands, and he had all these fast twitch muscles, but it's not about that. It's the mindset. It's the mentality of it. Don't mean you got to work out at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. Don't even mean you got to play basketball or hire a trainer. What it means is that once you've succeeded, and mind you, we talking about Michael Jordan. This dude scored at least 10 points in every game he played in for like 800 games straight or something like that. He won 6 straight championships in the 6 years he was actually playing. I think for most people, we can agree he's the greatest basketball player of all time. If he's not the greatest, he's number 2 to whoever you got as number 1. And how many people have played basketball in the course of the world. But anyway, the point is this, is a mindset. Once you've already achieved your success, you already got to start moving forward to the next success, because everybody that you beat to get that success, now they looking at the situation like, what do I got to do to beat that guy who's on top? Because if you the guy on top, everybody's trying to get your spot. Everybody's like, all right, he won, so what I got to do to beat him? What's his weaknesses? What did I not do this time around that I could do next time to beat that guy? And when you have that frame of mind, even if you're doing something that's not really competitive, like I got the YouTube button, like I said, I didn't have to compete with anybody to get it, because more than one person can get it. The fact of the matter is, once you get a trophy, once you get a reward, once you get recognized for something great that you did, is already time. Once you know the recognition is coming, because usually when you get the recognition, you already did the thing, so you already know the recognition is coming. It might be a week, it might be a month, it might be a couple days or a couple hours between when you actually did the activity that got you the reward and you actually receiving it. So you already know. You got to start getting in your mind, what's the next thing that I'm going to work on? What's the next thing that I'm going to do? Like Pat Riley. As soon as they won the championship that night, he was like, I couldn't sleep that night. All I was thinking about is how we going to defend this championship. And in 1988, what happened? The Lakers won the championship again. And then Pat Riley, they won it in 88. You know what he did in 88? He said, we're going to win it again. They didn't win it the next year. They lost to the Detroit Pistons. But the fact is the mentality of it. They went, I think, what was it, 88, 89? I think 89 89 they went to the finals. So they went to the finals all those years straight, but they lost in 89. So they did it 3 years in a row to the finals, but they lost in 89. But the whole thing is the mentality, and you have to have a certain mindset to drive that type of mentality, because everybody's not built for that. Some people just want to win their trophy and just be happy. How many of you know somebody who got some reward, they got some recognition, they did something great, they got some trophy, and then they celebrated that trophy for a month. They celebrated that trophy for a year. They might still be celebrating the trophy that they won like 5 years ago. And when I say celebrating, I mean they're kind of basking in their glory. They're not working as hard as they did to do what they had to do to get the trophy that they're doing right now. And that happens to people all the time. If y'all read Shaquille O'Neal's book, he wrote about that. When he was with the Miami Heat, I know he was on the Lakers, he got traded to the Heat. They won the championship in 2006. And Shaq said, we partied so hard for so long after we won that championship in 2006. He was like, I don't know how we even survived that. I don't know how some of the players even survived all the partying we did after we won that championship in 2006. And if y'all watch basketball, you remember what happened to the Miami Heat the very next year in 2007 with the exact same team? They got swept in the first round by the Chicago Bulls, and they had home court advantage. They just won the championship. Everybody's celebrating. Dwayne Wade just become a superstar. They had Shaq. They had Pat Riley. They had all that. The very next year, they got swept in the first round. The next year after that, they didn't even make the playoffs. Dwayne Wade got injured. Shaq got traded. The whole team fell apart. Pat Riley stopped coaching. Eric Spoelstra became coach. Then they ended up drafting Mike Beasley. Then they kind of had to reinvent. And it took them a few years to do that. But the fact is, after they won that championship, people start celebrating that reward for so long that they didn't even remember, oh yeah, let me get ready for doing what I'm supposed to do. It's the same thing Tim Grover talks about in the offseason. Some players, they get to the offseason, they take off, they taking care of their families, they basking in the glory, then maybe they go back to their hometown, everybody knows you, and then it gets to like September, October, they're like, oh shit, I forgot to get ready to actually do my job, to do my profession, and then the season starts, and what happens is the trainers from teams are calling Tim Grover like, yo, we need help with this player. Why? You a trainer. Why are you calling another trainer saying that you need help? Because they know that Tim Grover can get results that those trainers that teams can't get, because they're not employed. He's not employed by the team, so he can say something to a player that one of the trainers can't. And the point is not that the trainers not doing their job, is because the players don't do their job. Sometimes people just get so caught up in celebrating their success that they forget to get ready for the next success. Then they find out there's no more success. They like, damn, what happened? The whole time they were celebrating, other people was getting better. Time was passing by. They lost their mindset, and then they lose the thing. They lose that drive, the activities that had them actually get the trophy in the first place. I don't know if y'all still catching on my feed. I'm not seeing the hearts or comments, but hopefully y'all still catching the stream. I'm going to come back, maybe do another one later on today. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.
Thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you follow all my top content up here. Follow me on all your favorite social networks right over here, and make sure you are subscribed to catch all the new content I put on this channel every single day.